Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here after Carlisle have drawn 1-1 away from home at Fleetwood in what was a largely encouraging performance. And it feels like a long time since I've said that, but, Paul Simpson admitted himself, one of the youngest sides he's ever fielded. And we looked good, Gabriel Breeze making his debut for Thomas Hawley, which is, a decision a lot of fans were calling for, including myself, but one I didn't think was ever going to be made. Simo's spoken a lot in the past about not wanting to throw him into games, and I read that as Simpson doesn't really think he's good enough for League One football, or even League Two football last season, but he's shown confidence in him today. He's proved me wrong, and he's had a good performance out of it. Yes, there wasn't really too many shots on target for him to deal with. In fact, I think the one shot on target did go in, but, by doing his job properly, by coming out and claiming the ball when he has to, diving at people's feet when the ball's being played through, he stops them shots on target from happening from the source, which is something that Thomas Hawley's been blamed a lot for not doing. And it's the first game in quite some time where we haven't had a goalkeeping error. So, from purely a comparative point of view with the past, Gabriel Breeze has been a huge improvement today, and he can take great confidence in that, and he will take great confidence in that. I don't think you can drop him now for the Wigan game, and he'll take confidence from this Fleetwood game. And look, Fleetwood weren't good today, and I think any Fleetwood fan would admit that they weren't good today. And Wigan will be a bit more of a challenge for him, especially in a lot bigger stadium. But having that debut under his belt now, having that first good performance under his belt to go forward with, I think it'll do him a world of good in his future games, with the next one hopefully being at Wigan. But look, despite a positive display today, and I think it was positive, I think the formation seemed to change every 5 minutes, but in essence, I think the idea was a 4-4-2. With Edmondson and Maguire up top as a front two, with and I like the left hand side today. I think it was a massive improvement that Jack Armour, Taylor Charters on that side, both left footed. I think it looked a lot more balanced. I think they worked it well along that left hand side. Our right hand side was a different matter entirely, I think. And that's where our weaknesses were exposed a little bit. The goal came from the right hand side, and everything positive Fleetwood managed to do, and albeit there wasn't a lot, anything positive Fleetwood managed to accomplish was through that right hand side. And I don't think that can really be blamed on Josh Emmanuel too much. Because I think a lot of the time he was left sort of 2-on-1, he was left overloaded, and it has to go to whoever at the time was above him in the formation, which at times today was Sean Maguire, who for me didn't do enough today. I think out of that starting 11 he probably was the one that disappointed me the most, which is a shame because Sean Maguire is a player that people had a lot of hope for going into this season, and he unfortunately yet hasn't delivered. But yeah, look, it was a much better performance. It was a much better team performance, I thought. There was a lot of great passing movement. There was a lot of, good pressing as a team, some good defensive play from a team that until recently has looked like a team of individuals. Today they look like a really well-drilled, together unit. And that's something we've missed a lot recently, and I think has it got something to do with the fact that we had, 3 ex-youth players in the team today, with Taylor Charters, Owen Moxon, and Gabriel Breeze? I don't know. Maybe that's got something to do with it. Maybe it's got something to do with the fact that, and I don't want to say this because I don't like sort of focusing on individual players for negative criticism. But Luke Plange was dropped from the starting 11 today, which needed to happen, I think, because he's just been absolutely dreadful when he's played. Even the match where he somehow got man of the match in, my guess is on a pity vote. And he didn't start, and we looked a lot better. But from the moment he came on, I think we drastically, we played a lot worse, and maybe that's nothing to do with him. It is entirely possible that he comes on towards the end of the game when everyone's tired, and that tiredness and that fatigue is what makes the team play worse. Maybe it's the fact that we'd accepted a draw at that point and we're just defending. But I can't remember Luke Plange ever touching the ball when he came on, and that mentality shift seemed to happen when he came on. And what Sean Maguire's been accused of not pressing enough, not putting in the hard yards up top, I think Luke Plange takes to an entirely new level. You know, when there's fans on the sideline shouting, press, do something, which there were, he just doesn't really seem to do anything. And when he comes on the pitch, it's like we're playing with 10 men. And look, that sounds so horrible, and it sounds so overly negative for a young player. But it's just hard to see past that. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's some sort of subconscious bias I've got against Luke Plange. For his negative performances in the past. Maybe I'm painting him with that brush. I've got a preconceived idea of how he plays. And as a result, I just continue to think like that. But look, from what I saw today, the moment he came on the pitch, we got a lot worse. And I don't think he did enough to justify getting on the pitch. I'm just glad he didn't start, and we got the more positive strike partnership of Edmondson. And Edmondson, I think he was very unlucky to score when he managed to nick the ball off the keeper, chipped him, didn't go in. Alfred McCalmont, I thought, played really well. I have no idea what position he was meant to be playing. He was all over the place, but but I think he did well. But yeah, it's a game we probably should have won based on our chances. I think we were the better team. I think, other than Bolton, of course, it's one of our better away performances this season. And look, it's a more positive result than that of Cheltenham and then some other results recently, like Reading. But there's another way of looking at it, where we're now sat bottom of the league, and you look at the teams around us. Reading picked up points today, Exeter picked up points today, Cheltenham picked up points today, and you look at the teams around us in the relegation zone. That's Reading, Fleetwood and Cheltenham. We've played Fleetwood twice now, drew both games. We've been battered by Reading when we've played them, and we've been beaten by Cheltenham when we've played them. So, we're not picking up the points that we need to be doing from these fellow relegation fighting teams. And you look at Exeter, just out of that relegation zone, who we're going to be hopefully trying to compete with to get out of the relegation zone, and we've been beaten by them as well. So I look, that's what's concerning for me, I think, is that we're not picking up the wins against these fellow relegation teams. Every single team around us that we're hoping to compete with has taken points from us, which is worrying, but it's another result, and it's another point closer to safety, although I think that is now standing at about 5 points with everybody around us seeming to win, with even Fleetwood around us picking up a point against, obviously us. But look, it gets us closer into January, still in the fight. We're not too far cut adrift. It's all very, very tight at the bottom of the table. And when we get these signings in January, which will happen, we've already got one confirmed signing in Luke Armstrong, who, with all due respect to the likes of Edmondson and Maguire, he comes in and is immediately our best striker. So, we'll see how it goes. It's not a result to be disheartened by. Well, maybe not a performance to be disheartened by anyways. Maybe people could be more critical of the draw and it not being a win, but look, I think a point away from home in the current circumstances, a decent debut for Gabriel Breeze, a good return to action for Taylor Charters, and look, there are definitely positives to take from this game, which I haven't been able to say for a long time, so I'm just going to enjoy it while I can. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.